The mountains can be a very unforgiving environment for people that aren't willing to withstand it.
I've been drawn to the mountains and sheep hunting for years. It brings a peace. I'd rather be out here staring at sheep that aren't legal than doing anything else. It's my favorite place to be. There's never a ridge I don't want to cross. There's not enough time in life to see as many places I want to see.
I feel like being out here, especially for long durations of time away from your family, it really changes a person. It makes them a better partner, a husband, a friend, a father. So every time coming back here just makes you a better person being here. But it's a very humbling place. And year after year, I always am drawn back to the mountains no matter how forgiving it is, even if it's pouring rain, snowing, the worst conditions, the most horrible terrain possible.
I want to look over every ridge and see what's in every drainage, whether there's game or not. I just love being up here.
So today is day 2, opening morning. Yesterday we hiked in, I'm not sure how many kilometers, but we put on the miles for sure.
The hike up the mountain was rough. There was deadfall everywhere. From every 10 feet you were either going under or over logs, and it was just a grind. Once we made it up top, we hiked a few more miles and set up camp, and the boys brought out their spotting scopes to hopefully get some eyes on some sheep.
Saw a few sheep, a bunch of goats, a little bit of people, and now we're kind of packing up, getting ready to go further back into the countries to try and look for a legal ram or some nice billies. We're in the tent right now waiting for the rain to pass. And we're just gonna quickly load all our stuff up and start giving her and heading in the back.
This is where we were gonna camp, over in here. So I think we come around here and we can glass some of this.
Day 2, we pushed in further back down the mountain, reset up camp, did a bunch of glassing, located a band of rams. I believe there were 7 in there. One was a beautiful ram, flared out really wide. We couldn't get a full legality on him, so we went after him. We dropped down into that hole, made a run across the valley to see if we couldn't get closer, and part way there, unfortunately, a group of nannies and kids walked into the group of bedded rams and pushed them. We lost sight of them and never did see them again, but saw a ton of sheep. Made the long hike back to camp, ran into a wolf along the way. That was pretty much the end of day 2. We did about 17 kilometers day 2, so it was a good push that day.
Coffee for me?
For you. It's hot.
Thanks, man.
Take some grub. Pick a gun, take a spotter. I think go like straight across this to the point, glass up the valley, and then slowly make our way up, checking all these fingers going down, because there's a bunch of spines here alongside this valley. Then we can glass it this way, go to the other side, glass them back. And do that the whole way up while glassing the other side at the same time. See if we can locate a ram.
Day 3, we kind of stuck around camp a little bit and just glassed everything around us as much as possible. We split up. Anthony and Mike went up to this one point, and then Caleb and I went to another, glassed the other side of the valley. Seen 4 mature billies and 2 rams. Anthony and Mike seen a bunch of lambs and ewes and some goats as well. So we've been here for quite a while. Weather's been off and on, rain, wind, and spotted 3 different rams. I don't believe any of them are legal. 4 goats. Yeah, so now they've gone down in behind this big grassy hill into must be a bowl or a chute on the backside. We're gonna go up, run down this ridge a bit to see if we can better look down there to see if there's more rams. Because before there was 2, now there's 3. So there's potential to be in there, so we're gonna go have a look. Yeah, other than that, we've been chilling in the sun and the rain all day. Day 4, we decided to pack up camp and drop down the valley floor and up the other side into another range. That was an absolute grind. There was no trail. We just went down a chute, climbed down waterfalls, and climbed hands and knees, going down chutes and through buckbrush, crossing rivers and creeks, and up the other side of the mountain.
Luckily, it had just quit raining about half an hour before we got to our campsite. Got some water, checked the bowls close to camp here, and made a game plan for the next morning to push a little bit further in again.
We're morning at day 5. I think we're about 9 o'clock in the morning. We pushed in here yesterday. We're like 40K back. Rained all day yesterday, and now today we're just fogged in. So we're stuck in the tent. Can't glass, can't hike. You don't want to hike to spook anything, so we are hanging out, having coffee. Might watch another show, and hopefully once it starts to warm up, this fog will lift and we'll be able to glass and start moving around looking for sheep.
Number 5, we went up to the Rocky Ridge, and that was a windy day. We climbed up to the highest peak where we could see down into several valleys and sat in a little rock bluff. We ended up building some rock walls to hide out of the wind and caught a little bit of the cold. But we froze up there for most of the day. I think we saw 4 or 5 rams that day, just little guys, nothing worth getting off our glassing point for. Quite a few goats, but at that point we were still just focusing on sheep.
The peak and then a bag of trail mix.
Yeah, it's bars and stuff, but if you have a light day in camp and you want to eat your whole bag of food, you don't gain a pound.
I don't think I can pack anything less than I did this trip. I'm starving right now. I haven't eaten anything yet.
I'm already starting to debate, am I going to hike my extra food out or am I going to leave it here?
I'm going to eat it.
Oh yeah. Partway there, we glassed up 1 ram. So me and Mike dropped down another ridge to get a closer look and found that there was, 6, 7 rams there? And 1 for sure needed a closer look.
Yeah.
He's like a 3-year-old ram.
Yeah.
There's another one in there. He's probably about 2/3. Probably like a 4-year-old ram.
Okay.
And then there's 2 real heavy rams.
You got pictures?
Oh, I got a little bit of video.
Okay.
It's like 4K as the crow flies, so.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Hey, if we go over there, we're spending the night on the hill.
You think let's go all the way around?
Oh, you're talking about going to this close ridge, the big
if we went
patch?
if we went all the way to the end and dropped down on them, and by the time we got back to camp, you're looking at 25 to 30K day.
Decided to make a play on the rams. We had to go up to the head of the valley, around down the other side. Took us a few hours to get there. And we snuck into within 150 yards of where the rams were last bedded. Mike. They're on the back side of that eagle. They're on the back side of that beehive rock. Like their next drainage zone. We seen 2 of the small rams leaving the bedding area, but couldn't find the rest of them. There was lots of nooks and crannies in there. So me and Mike climbed through the rocks to get in even closer and check where they were, with no luck. So we hiked back to where we dropped our packs, and at that point we'd kind of decided that we were thinking we were going to start heading back, because at that point we were probably 7K away from camp at least, maybe a little bit further. Brandon and Caleb decided to run up the ridge a little bit further to see if they could look into a couple more draws to where those rams might have gone. And me and Mike were headed for another ridge to see if we could glass anything else up. We got probably about 500 yards from where we were sitting up out of the little bowl onto the flat. And we looked up the hill and there was 2 little rams standing there watching us. So we kind of hit the dirt and just stayed quiet, and the rest of the band of rams that we've been looking for fed over the top, and they busted off the backside. Ran a couple hundred yards and kind of settled down. Got a bit of a look at the one ram. One of the 2 that we thought might be close knew right away that he, at that point, was not legal. But the bigger ram still, we hadn't quite gotten a good enough look at.
Slam tip. 2.
That's 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8. I think he said.
Had a pretty good look at the big ram. At first, we were first look at the ram through the spotter, we were pretty confident that he was 8 years old, but he was definitely short by probably about a good 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch. And we watched him for about 20 minutes with lots of phone scope footage, trying to pretty much talk ourselves out of him being 8 years old. We just don't have enough experience looking at sheep through the glass. And we were 100% confident he was 7+. We ended up being about 90% positive that he was 8, but being short, I just couldn't be 100% certain that that 8th ring was actually there. So we decided to let him walk. And that started a 12-kilometer hike back to camp at that point. Got back to camp just as it was getting dark, had dinner, crawled into the tent, started reviewing footage of that ram, and I'm very confident that he was 8 years old. Now that I have had several hours to sit and watch video of him. But at the time, I don't regret our decision at all. We weren't confident enough, and if you're not confident enough, best thing to do is just let them walk, especially if you don't have 30 years of experience sheep hunting, and we don't have that. So yeah, that was day 6. Day 7, we kind of planned to sleep in a little. Day 6 was a grind. Kid gotten up out of the tent at about 6:30, and I was kind of reluctant to get up. But Mike was gone for about 15 minutes, and he come running back to the tent saying there was 16 rams just 200 yards behind camp, over the ridge, across the draw. They were starting to feed up out of the bottom into the grass. We sat there and watched them for, I don't know, probably half hour, 45 minutes, and they'd work themselves into an area where they had started to bed down, bedded up pretty close to the top. 3.5, 4 kilometer hike up to get behind them. There was a snow patch so that we had last left them bedded behind. So we dropped packs, took the rifle and spotter, and started sneaking in on them. We worked our way into 142 yards from the rams that we figured were pretty close. We had 15 rams bedded at between 140 and 180 yards below us. Unfortunately, they all came up a little bit short. There was a couple rams that were probably within half to a quarter an inch of breaking the bridge of the nose, but the oldest rams were 7. There was 2 that were 7, 2 or 3 that were 6. So at that point, we just kind of kicked back and enjoyed watching them for a little while. It was a great experience to get that close into that many rams and have the chance to age them through the spotter. That's the best opportunity I've had in the field to watch rams through the spotter and age them. And it was a great lesson on aging rams, and the whole trip, that made the whole trip. Just to have that opportunity was worth the miles we put in.
It's cold and foggy and cold. Ready to hike your butts off? We go to jaunt today, back the way we came, across the big valley. So, a lot of elevation drop and a lot of elevation gain. It's gonna be fun. Can't wait.
We're getting towards the end of the hunt, and we have a solid 2.5 day hike out of here.
It really builds character being up here. And it teaches you not to give up and to just always push that little bit extra. BC, I think, has the most opportunity for hunters, regardless of what some may say, but we have the most opportunities for every species in the province. We have, I think, some of the most beautiful country in the world, and it can take you to some amazing places depending on the animals that you're chasing. But it's just an all-around amazing place to live, amazing place to raise your kids, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
I find it just as rewarding after a 10-day sheep hunt going home empty-handed as I do coming home with a moose. The last 5 years, I've been pushing hard to spend as much time in the mountains It's just brings a peace. I'd rather be out here staring at sheep that aren't legal than doing anything else. It's yeah, it's my favorite place to be.